That was close.
Hello everyone and welcome to another video, and today's goal is pretty simple. Travel light and try and get some bites. And I've come to a local day ticket to me. It's actually fairly quiet and I've already spotted a few fish on one of the more trickier lakes, shall we say, just milling around on the surface. So first port of call is to try and get one out of here. But if not, there's a bit more of a heavily stocked lake just from where I've just walked, where I'll be heading to. And real simple tactics, travel light, put a bit of bait in a few spots and see if we can have something. Oh, there's one right by it. Go on, mate. Go on. Right, on to the next spot. Sometimes you've got to know when you've got to accept defeat. Well, I gave it about 30-45 minutes on one of the lakes, and it was very clear they just weren't having it on the top. I mean, I get some baits fairly close to them, and they just skirt straight under. I had one close chance to start with actually, but yeah, the ducks came in, started ruining it, and I could just sense they weren't really up for feeding. So I moved up onto one of the runs waters. Should be a bit of fun, and if I blank on here, there will be a job vacancy coming up at CARPology, because if you can't catch on here, you can't catch anywhere. They're just not having it on the top, so they're going to switch to bottom baits and just flit around in swims for half an hour at a time. There's a lot of bubbling coming up all over the place, so I feel like there's a good chance of a bite on the bottom. But the surface just isn't happening, and it's been a bit frustrating. He wasn't happy about being hooked a foot from the bank. It's been slower going than I thought. I tried on the surface for quite a while. Wasn't happening. He's still going some, but and there's still the odd fish going around on the surface, but they just aren't having it. Look, he's trying to get around this bank. Let's try and pull him back a bit. Yeah, just weren't having it. The odd ones floating around, taking the odd bit of bread, but then clearing off. So he is right under this bush. Excuse me 1 second, we'll try and get him round. So I opted to go on the bottom. I actually had a weird bite from exactly this spot about 10 minutes ago. Picked up into nothing, put it back out, and I'm literally 2 foot from where I'm standing. And I could watch the plumes coming up where they're feeding. Just a couple handfuls of bait. And this one's ripped off. But yeah, I'll talk you through this setup in a minute, but it's a new little rod and reel combo from Sonik. Got the Insurgent 9 foot, 3¼ pound tester of rod, and a little Insurgent 5000 size reel. I have to say, it's got a beautifully smooth clutch on it. He's basically back to where I hooked him now. And he's in. Happy days. Off the mark. Hopefully, a few more to come. There we go. It's only a little one, but it gets us off the mark, and I'm sure there's plenty more to come. Like I said, I'd had a weird little take on this spot already, but nothing came of it. 5 minutes later, rigged back in, it's clouding up like mad. I can see the plumes of mud and stuff coming up. And he was on the end. So it's a good start and good fun on a little smaller setup. Slipping back and see if we can get a few more. It's only a matter of time till that went off. I could see the bubbles coming up, the odd bits of mud. Love catching them in the margin like this. Well, unfortunately, between landing the fish, or just before landing the fish, and filming it on the bank, the mic died. I didn't notice. So here you have some of me jabbering away to camera with no mic, but lovely second fish anyway. Just having a little walk around, handful of bait, flick a few bits in here and there. I've got my loaf of bread with me still as well, just in case I can get them on the top somewhere. There's a couple of anglers have turned up and are fishing off the point together with dog biscuits, and they've come up straight away for that. So it could just be the constant feeding of dog biscuits would get them up, but I would like to get one on free line. But I'm also seeing a lot of bubbling action, so I think they are feeding quite hard on the bottom in several different places. So I'll wander around, see if we can find another opportunity. Well, I'm now back in the swim where I had my first bite. The other swim completely wrecked the swim, as you'd expect with another bite. Came back here and did see some signs of fish still in the area. Put a few more handfuls of bait in, and hopefully getting their confidence up, so when I lower a rig in, we'll get another quick bite. I also had a little walk around trying to find them on the surface. Again, just not really having it. I'm not sure if the weather conditions aren't perfect for it, but every time I put something in front of them, just a little bit of free offering bread, they turned away and disappeared. So I'm going to give up on the surface for now and stick to on the bottom. And with the clouds rolling in behind me and the thunder and lightning I keep on having just over my shoulder, I think I'll be quite glad of just putting a rod out and trying to shelter somewhere while I was trying to get a fish. Anyway, so the rod itself, as I've already mentioned, I've got an Insurgent rod and reel setup. Starting with the rod. If any of you have seen videos of mine before where I talk about cork handled rods, you know I absolutely love them. So if you like cork handles, then obviously they've got them in the Insurgent range now, but they also, if you don't like cork handles, they have got the standard ones as well. And this is a 9-foot 2-piece retractable butt section, so it breaks down nice and small, and this is the 3¼ pound test curve version. They start with the 9-foot models, both cork and non-cork models, at 2¾ pound test curve, all the way up to 3¼ like this one. And then you've got the 10-foot models, which start from £3 all the way up to 3½ pound test curve. Same principles all the way around. Lovely rods, nice progressive action to them. As I said, this is the strongest version of the 9-foot model, and the fish I've had today haven't been massive by no stretch of the imagination. Am I thinking they were big? But it's a lovely play in action with the tip, but plenty of reserves if I wanted to catch some bigger fish with them as well. Moving on to the reel. Now this is the Insurgent 5000, and as you can see I've been holding the rod and reel set up with just one finger, perfectly balanced by the handle. It's not heavy, which is another big plus point of carrying a lighter kit. It just shows that this reel balances off nicely with it. Now this is the 5000 reel version. Now there is going to be a 6000 model coming out later this year, so if you like what you see and want to hold out for a different size reel, then the 6000 will be coming out very, very soon. Now, I'm not going to go into all the ins and outs, all the specs of all these things. I think proof's in the pudding, really, of when you're playing a fish. As you just saw, extending it nice and smooth, and the clutch. That's the one thing I've been really impressed with on this reel, on this trip. It's just how smooth the clutch is. It's not like it takes it to a certain point, then suddenly starts going. You can watch the spool slowly turn, then it ticks a bit more. So when it takes lunges, just butter smooth, and that's what you want for a reel. You don't want something that just jolts. And I've even had some fairly expensive reels that, even some of my personal ones, that I've got to be a bit careful with the clutch, and sometimes I'll opt for back wind because they're just not quite fine-tuned. But that is probably the most impressive thing I've found with this today, is the clutch aspect of it and how smooth that is. Now, I won't be able to test the cast capability so much today because I'm fishing about a foot or two from the bank all the time. But I would say that the line lay is lovely. I spooled this up this morning actually in a previous video where I talked about how to spool up reels. So if you want to see that, click the link in the description below on how to despool and spool reels nice and quickly, and also with Sonik lines. So I'm full Sonik setup today, so thank you for sending this out. And it's the sort of day out that I love the most. It's testing kit whilst catching fish. So a lovely day out all in all. But that's pretty much it. If you want more information on the actual ins and outs of all the spec and things, then do go over to the website and check them out. I'll relay some of the prices on the screen right now. But the main thing is how they perform, and so far I'm really enjoying it. And it looks damn good as well. As you can see, really understated graphics, completely what's in at the moment, or lack of graphics, shall I say. Sort of a matte grey with an ever slight sheen to it. A few bits of glossier black with the spool and the line clip. It's actually got dual line clips as well. And as I said, the clutch is the main thing I really like, and topped off with a lovely shiny wooden handle as well. That's enough jibber jabber about the setup. I'm going to put a lead back on, lower it down in there, and hope that this storm just skirts around the side of me, because my coat's in the car.
That was close.
I've just had absolutely blinding take. Didn't have a chance to stick that one back on. That's the closest I've ever come to losing a rod, and that was with a loose clutch. I don't think Sonik would have thanked me if that happened, because this reel is currently the only one in the UK. Oh, hell of a bite. I could see some bubbles coming up just before. And I said to myself, in fact, it might have been picked up on the other camera, I'm going to get a bite. And it whizzed off. And what I was saying with the previous fight before the mic died, it's just how smooth the clutch is. I mean, if I put it next to the mic, you can hear it. It's so smooth. It's right under my feet again. Really progressive. Right, it's going to take another run. Butter smooth. Classic little day ticket carp, just doing circles in the front of the swim. But that's where a shorter rod comes in handy. Okay, don't really want to be holding a rod in the sky with a storm right on top of me. So let's get you in. So you're done. You're done. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. There we go. Oh, happy days. Right, before that storm hits me, let's film him. There we go. And for all you hook sharpeners out there and people that change rigs every time, same hook. The only bait is changed once. I've had 2 fish on the first bait. Still just as sharp as when it first went out. Lovely. I love cheap fishing. And here's my reward. So this one, as I said, I saw some bubbles come up, and within a few seconds it was away. Lovely little fish, about the same size as the other two. And we've got a thunderstorm literally just rolling through. And I've not yet to get wet. There's a few spots coming down. But God, he's already pooing out the bait I've been putting in. It's the same colour as when it went in. It's been a bit lively. It's the time to stick him back before the rain comes. Well, I think it's time for me to head on, because that is the thunderstorm that's been slowly trundling its way towards us. And it's pretty much on top of me. It's just starting to rain. And fishing rods in the sky and camera equipment don't really mix too well with thunderstorms. So before I get soaking wet, that's going to be it for today. Great fun though. I think it proofs in the pudding, like travelling light, just being really opportunistic, finding spots, putting a few bits of bait in. All 3 of those bites have been within about 10-15 minutes of being in the swim. So you don't need long. As long as you find an area that you think fish are going to be, or you put a bit of bait in, you don't need to be long. All in all, I've only been here a few hours, so it's been great fun, and I'm sure I'll be doing it again. So if you've never used a light setup or a little rod and a smaller reel before, and you want to try it, I highly recommend it, because I've not been weighed down with kit. Even with the camera equipment, I've been walking around with everything just in my hands and on my back, and it's just a great active way of fishing and finding bites and getting them. So I'm going to continue to do it because I do already, and it's great fun. But if you haven't, maybe then look at the Sonik Insurgent range and the reels. As I mentioned, with the reels, the 6000 version will be coming later on in the year. So if you like what you see here, but you want a different size, then hang around for that. But that's it from me for now. Please do make sure you're subscribed to us, and hit the bell icon if you haven't already, so you don't miss any future uploads. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter for daily updates. But for now, cheers for watching, and I'll see you again soon.